So the Philadelphia 76ers were just eliminated from the second round of the NBA playoffs by the Atlanta Hawks. And bro, we might have just seen Ben Simmons play his last game for the Philadelphia 76ers. At this point, I don't know where the Sixers can go from here with Ben. It's bro, this is not good. Shout out to the Atlanta Hawks. Shout out to the team. Shout out to the organization. Shout out to Trae Young for carrying his team this far. Shout out to his teammates for carrying him in this game 7 where he wasn't able to really, step up and be the Trae Young that we know and love. And shout out to the organization for even putting this team around Trae Young to begin with. They weren't really supposed to be here. They made it this far, made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now we have a matchup set. Bucks and Hawks. Cannot wait for that. Now that I've given my credit to the Atlanta Hawks for this series, it's time to move on to the Philadelphia 76ers. What do they do moving forward? Because at this point, the process is done. You can no longer, I don't see a world where you can move forward with Ben and Embiid. And you're not trading Embiid, so the only option here left is to trade Ben Simmons. But what realistic options do the 76ers have? And what teams realistically could Ben Simmons go to where the 76ers can get something back of equal value or maybe better themselves? A better fit, so to speak. In my opinion, the best option for the 76ers and the best option for Ben Simmons was the Houston Rockets when James Harden was requesting a trade. The Houston Rockets 76ers should have gotten a deal done for James Harden and Ben Simmons. Would have given Ben Simmons a fresh start. They had a nice team around him. Granted, at that moment, you were going to have to move John Wall as well, but I feel like the Houston Rockets could have figured something out. James Harden and Embiid together would have been perfect. Granted, they may not have gotten it done this year because James Harden tweaked his hamstring, but who knows? That may not happen if he's on the 76ers. We never know, But aside from that, I'm pretty sure whether, they get it done this year or not, moving forward, James Harden would be a much better fit for Embiid. It's not even that Ben Simmons. Of course, Ben Simmons isn't a scorer. We know this. That's not his style. I'm not going to rag on Ben Simmons for not being a quote-unquote scorer. But the fact that throughout this entire series, he's taken, 2 shots in the fourth quarter? In the last 4 games, he hasn't taken a single shot in the fourth quarter at all. And these have been close games and crucial games. They've given up 2 leads back-to-back in this series against the Atlanta Hawks. One when they were up 26 points at home. So, yeah, it's bad. The Philadelphia 76ers can't move forward. I'm not sure what team Ben can go to where he'll be a great fit. There are a few teams, I talked to some people on Twitter. Some people have mentioned, a couple of people actually have mentioned the Oklahoma City Thunder. I personally don't agree. They mentioned the Thunder because, one, they have draft capital. The Thunder can trade draft picks for him, and it would involve them giving up Kemba Walker. I personally don't think Kemba Walker makes the 76ers any better. Granted, his health and how he's played recently this year, it's not an upgrade. It's not a huge downgrade, but it doesn't make them any better. I'm not sure if it makes them worse, but it doesn't make them better either. Granted, in hindsight, well, not in hindsight, but in theory, you would think, oh, well, Kemba will fit perfectly on the Sixers. They have that scorer they can go to. But can you really rely on Kemba at this point to be that guy? And Tobias Harris isn't that guy either. So that's a thought out there. I could be wrong about that, the whole Kemba Walker thing. But me personally, I don't think that's the move to make. Another option I've heard, which I've thought of as well, is the Portland Trailblazers. Now, the thing about the Portland Trailblazers is I'm of the mindset that if Portland is getting Ben, they're trading Dame. If Portland is getting Ben, they're trading Dame. The Sixers are trading Ben, and they're going to have to give up a lot more, like a Tyrese Maxey, maybe a Batiste Thybulle, some future draft picks, because obviously it's Damian Lillard. But at that moment that you're rebuilding, do you keep CJ in that moment? Do you move CJ? A lot of people were saying CJ for Ben. I don't think that works at all. I don't think that makes the 76ers better at all. I don't really think it makes the Portland Trailblazers better at all. It's the only way it would make sense for a team to trade for Ben Simmons if they're clearing house and they're completely rebuilding. That's why I said the perfect scenario was the Houston Rockets. But now the Houston Rockets have no capital, no leverage, no assets to trade in order to get Ben Simmons. So they've missed the boat on that. I've heard people mention the Warriors saying, oh, Ben Simmons needs to play the Draymond Green role. He's not Draymond Green. They're both great defensive players, defensive player of the year material players, but he's not Draymond Green. Draymond Green will at least shoot the three and sometimes make it. Ben Simmons is just afraid to shoot at all. He would just be a liability on the court, where you can say Draymond is a liability on the court, but Draymond isn't afraid to shoot it if you leave him open. Ben Simmons is. I don't think that helps the Warriors at all. Plus, you shouldn't trade Draymond Green for Ben Simmons, where Draymond Green is clearly, the heart and soul of that team, the vocal leader in the locker room. The chemistry with him, Clay, Steph, Steve Kerr is like that. Obviously, you expect him to retire there. It makes no sense for them to trade him for Ben, which is unknown how it would have fit in that system. I've heard people say the Minnesota Timberwolves trade D'Angelo Russell. Hopefully, if they have their top pick in this draft, if they get to keep it, unless it goes to the Warriors or not, they'll have that to trade as well. But my thing is, in theory, sounds good, but would much be different teaming him up with Cat as it was with Embiid. I don't think Ben Simmons in a big is the way to go. I'm not really sure about that. Maybe, maybe the Timberwolves is the best option. But I don't see the Timberwolves in a complete rebuild mode. I see them as a young team trying to prosper in the West, advance in the West, get better in the West, eventually make the playoffs, or else they'll lose Cat. So it's not many teams left in the league where you could send a Ben Simmons, where, the complete rebuild is not many teams in the league I could think of like that need him. And the only option was the Houston Rockets. I've heard Mavs fans are mentioning Ben Simmons' name. No, we're not doing it. Cutting it right now. Not doing it. But as far as that, where do the Sixers go from here? Where does Ben go from here? And I feel like that's two separate paths, because I don't see Ben coming back. The Sixers were the 1 seed. Brooklyn was knocked out. The Lakers were knocked out. This was the year, if any year, for them to make the finals and make a run, and they failed to do it. So where do they go from here? Obviously, I feel like everyone knows, okay, you trade Ben Simmons. We got that out the way. Then what? Are you still a contender? Are you continuing to contend? What team can you trade him to where you get the pieces back to still be a contender and maybe possibly even better? Do you need another star back? Do you just trust Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid, keep Seth Curry, pay Seth Curry, Matisse Thybulle, Tyrese Maxey, Shake Milton? Do you go just get, decent role players who can be stars in their role, surround Joel with them, and see where it takes them? I think that's a good way to go. Get yourself a playmaker, a floor general, who's also not afraid to shoot the ball and score the ball. That's what Ben was not. Ben was afraid to shoot and score the ball in crunch time when it mattered. But I don't know what, actually, no, I do know. The Sixers' hands are tied as far as cap room goes, so they can't really go out and get anyone that could fill those roles like that. So I don't know, man. The process is at a standstill right now. It's a jam in traffic. I don't know where the process goes from here. I don't know where the Sixers go from here. I don't know where Ben goes from here. But it's definitely going to be a hell of an offseason for the Philadelphia 76ers. The NBA is heating up, baby. We in the conference finals. Once again, shout out to the Atlanta Hawks. Can't wait to see what the Philadelphia Sixers organization does this upcoming offseason, because it's a big offseason. We'll have to make some big moves. But until then, keep it locked here. Leave a like on the video, please. Appreciate it. Leave a comment in the comment section, man. Let me know how you feel. Should the Sixers keep Ben? Maybe some people think that. Should the Sixers trade Embiid? I don't think so. I feel like that's a crazy. But, maybe some people in the comment section will think so. Let me know what team you think could use Ben realistically. Put some trades in the comment section below, man. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Ring the notification bell so you know when videos like this come out, so you know when the video comes out of my reaction to whenever Ben Simmons gets traded. But until then, peace.